Soccer June 30, 2018 11:34 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time June 30, 2018 10:40 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time Goal takes a look at the best classic World Cup matches of yesteryear in anticipation for this summer's tournament in Russia. Use left or right buttons to navigate. Swipe left or right to navigate. Getty. It was the Kylian Mbappé show as the young forward slotted home twice against Argentina and played an instrumental role in the build-up to the first goal to send Argentinian Lionel Messi home at the last 16 stage. France opened the scoring through an Antoine Griezmann spot kick, but Argentina leveled through Angel Di Maria. Benjamin Pavard netted again to put Les Blues in the lead before Lionel Messi struck home to equalize, but Mbappé scored twice in the span of 4 minutes to put his side 4-2 up. It was a thrilling encounter on all sides that fully allowed France to finally showcase their quality in Russia following opening group stage performances that were underwhelming. The victory for France means that Argentina go home disappointingly in the last 16 phase, and Les Blues will face either Portugal or Uruguay in the quarterfinal. Getty. Spain vs Portugal was always the match that would have the most build-up ahead of the 2018 World Cup, and it lived up to the hype and more. Enthralling from start to finish, Cristiano Ronaldo scored a penalty to put Portugal up under 4 minutes before Diego Costa netted shortly afterwards to equalize. Spain led eventually through a fine Isco screamer and another Costa goal, but it wasn't enough to keep Ronaldo quiet. The Real Madrid star scored an incredible free kick just before the end of regular time, bagging a hat-trick in the process and putting his name in the history books as he has now scored in 4 consecutive World Cups. David de Gea's goalkeeping blunder wasn't even the talk of the match, as Ronaldo proved that he remains his country's talisman and could very well lead his team far in Russia. The group game between the rival nations has already earned classic status. Spain had all their hopes of defending their 2010 glory by being hammered 5-1 by the Netherlands in the group stages that sent shockwaves across football. Xabi Alonso opened the scoring through a penalty won by Diego Costa, but the Netherlands retaliated thick and fast through Arjen Robben van Persie and Stefan de Vrij to break the hearts of the 3-time, back-to-back world and European champions. YouTube Studio Del Bianco dubbed the "Game of the Century." This 1970 World Cup semi-final classic burst into life in extra time with 5 goals scored after West Germany had equalized in the 90th minute. Italy conceded again via the boot of the legendary Gerd Müller 4 minutes into extra time, but goals from Tarcisio Bergnach and Luigi Riva put Italy in the ascendancy. Müller scored again in the 110th minute before Johnny Rivera gave the Southern Europeans a euphoric victory. Getty Images. Argentina vs England, 1986, otherwise known as Diego Maradona vs England. This quarterfinal tie between the two rivals in Mexico City has long etched its name as one of the most memorable football games in history, where Maradona scored his "Hand of God" goal and, just 4 minutes later, dribbled past Peter Beardsley, Peter Reid, Terry Butcher, Terry Fenwick, once again, Butcher and Peter Shilton to slot home. Argentina went on to become eventual winners over West Germany in the finals. Getty. Brazil suffered one of the worst humiliations of all time when they were embarrassed 7-1 by Germany on home turf in the 2014 semi-finals. Germany were up 5-0 by halftime and the home side lamented the absences of Neymar and Thiago Silva before kick-off. Brazil fans were left stunned by the display that the eventual champions put on. It was their first competitive home defeat in 39 years, the summer that they were supposed to bring the World Cup home, but a Germany masterclass proved to be just too much. Getty Images. A hat-trick by Paolo Rossi for Italy eliminated Brazil from the World Cup and saw the Azzurri win the entire competition. described as the day that football died, after Brazil's style of free-flowing, attacking and fluid football, which helped them win 3 World Cups between 1958 and 1970, was gently cast aside by the Italians. Tele Santana's classic Brazil side, doused in nostalgia, finally saw their attacking philosophy come to a bitter end through one of the most legendary matches of all time. Getty. It was during Uruguay's quarterfinal against Ghana at the 2010 World Cup where Luis Suarez gained a worldwide reputation of notoriety. The forward committed a blatant handball in an attempt to clear the ball off his line, and was punished with a red card. However, tournament's hero Asamoah Gyan failed to score it at the end of extra time. The Uruguayans ended up winning the match 4-2 in a penalty shootout, but Ghanaians will forever feel that justice did them wrong that day. Getty Images. 4 goals in extra time, an equally dramatic penalty shootout following a 3-3 scoreline, and West Germany goalkeeper Harald Schumacher's brutal tackle on France's Patrick Battiston that knocked him unconscious, eventually leaving the pitch with 2 missing teeth and 3 cracked ribs, make this 1982 semi-final one of the most eventful international matches in history. Getty. Portugal forward Eusebio scored 4 to help his side come back from being 3-0 down to defeat North Korea in the quarter-finals at Everton's home stadium of Goodison Park in the 1966 World Cup. The defeat to Portugal marked the end of a brilliant, surprising run of form by North Korea, who drew with Chile and eliminated 2-time world champions Italy in the final group game. Getty. Dubbed the Miracle of Bern, the 1954 World Cup final saw West Germany face up against Hungary's Golden Generation and, against all expectations, win 3-2. There's the added political narrative of the long-lasting impact on Germany and Hungarian World War II history, with the final having led to West Germany gaining international respect following the loss of the Second World War. It was a thrilling match not without its own controversies. West Germany's second goal should not have counted and had a disallowed goal. The Germans scored an 84th minute winner through Helmut Rahn after an early scoreline was 2-2 after 18 minutes. Getty. Italia, 90, Euro, 96, and then France, 98. England exited the World Cup 20 years ago in an all-too-familiar fashion, penalty shootout, and seem to still wear the scars to this day. David Beckham was sent off and was therefore unable to take a spot kick after the score was level at 2-2. Both Alan Shearer and Michael Owen scored early on but were unable to keep a lead, though this England side played with something so lacking from the Three Lions in recent years: heart. Getty. Brazil, fresh from their 1994 World Cup glory, ultimately got the better of a talented Denmark side in a thrilling 3-2 quarter-final victory, with goals from Bebeto and Rivaldo, though suffered heartbreak against France in the final that they lost 3-0. Getty. Against the backdrop of the dark 1980s, Italia, 90 changed English football forever. Against West Germany, Bobby Robson's Three Lions were the closest to winning the World Cup since lifting the trophy in 1966, though the shootout ended the dream in the most crushing of ways. Gary Lineker's equalizing goal in the 80th minute was enough to prompt extra time, but England, as always, fell short at penalties. The game spawned one of the most memorable images of the England World Cup team, of star midfielder Paul Gascoigne in tears. Getty. The 1970 final between Brazil and Italy was the first time the two former world champions ever met in a final, and featured a classic Brazil side with scorers Pelé, Gerson, Jairzinho and Carlos Alberto. The last goal, scored by Alberto, is one of the greatest moments in football history and encapsulated the free-flowing playing style that Brazil side were so famed for. With a pass started by Pelé and prompted by Toussaint, with passes to Brito, Clodoaldo, Pelé and Gerson, Clodoaldo beat 4 Italian players, passed to Jairzinho, who lofted it to Pelé once again for Alberto to slot home. Getty, one of the great unheralded World Cup finals knockout matches, Belgium's golden generation saw off a superb Soviet Union side in a 4-3 thriller. The scoreline was even at 2-2 by the 90th minute and, in extra time, Belgium scored via Stefan Demel and Nico Claesen. Igor Belanov scored his third of the game from the spot with 9 minutes to go, but the USSR, agonizingly, were unable to find a last-minute equalizer, prompting Belgium to progress to the quarter-final against Spain. Getty. Hungary went into their 1954 World Cup semi-final fixture against Uruguay as the highest-scoring team of the tournament, with 21 goals to their name. The South Americans were a strong team, but Hungary were no easy feat, and seemed to have sealed the game after leading 1-0 at halftime. The Uruguayans, however, were relentless and, led by Juan Alberto Schiaffino, pressured the Hungarians and equalized through Juan Hoberg. Hungary's Sandor Kocsis scored 2 headers, and Uruguay were only grateful to have been defeated by a truly great team. Getty. It's the final that no England fan will ever let go. From the only major tournament the Three Lions have won, England defeated West Germany at their home ground of Wembley in the 1996 World Cup final 4-2 in extra time. With a team led by Bobby Moore, Geoff Hurst scored a hat-trick, with 2 of the decisive goals coming in the 101st and 120th minute, to see off Germany. Football came home, just this once. Getty. 4 years later, West Germany got revenge over England in the 1970 World Cup quarter-final, scoring an extra-time goal after the score was leveled after the 82nd minute. England had scored early through Alan Mullery and Martin Peters, but were unable to defend their title and, incredibly, their 2-goal lead and crashed out spectacularly after a 108th-minute winning goal by Gerd Müller. It set the tone for an almost entirely one-sided rivalry for the next 50 years. Getty. It was the Battle of Marseille, when Dennis Bergkamp's incredible winner was the perfect way to end a riveting quarter-final fixture. It was the first time the two had met since the 1978 World Cup final in Buenos Aires, which the South American hosts won. The Orange got their share of redemption 20 years later. Getty. England ostensibly played the greatest Brazil side that the world had ever seen in the group stages of the 1970 World Cup in Mexico, boasting a team full of stars like Pelé, Jairzinho, Rivelino, Gerson, Carlos Alberto and Tostão. They were favourites to win the cup, though England still had stars who were pivotal to their 1966 success. Ultimately, Brazil registered the 1-0 win thanks to a goal from Jairzinho, though the Three Lions walked away with their heads held high after showing impressive resilience. Both teams advanced to the next stage, where England squandered a 2-goal lead to West Germany to lose 3-2. Getty. Argentina's last 1994 World Cup fixture against Romania was always to be doused in an ill feeling. Diego Maradona was excluded from the squad due to testing positive for ephedrine, and his side were without their captain. There was the conspiracy that Argentina finished third in their group on purpose as they favored a tie against Romania over Italy, but even that backfired against them as the Romanians fought hard to battle out a 3-2 victory over the two-time world champions. Abel Balbo's strike in the 80th minute, their second, wasn't enough, as Romania already scored 3 goals.